I have played all of the Souls games asking just one question. How viable is faith in each respective game? Starting from Demon Souls, ending up all the way to Elden Ring. Playing as everybody's favorite priest, Johnny Sins. And for now, we only have one more video to make on this topic, saying goodbye to the Johnny Sins saga. We are here to answer the question, how viable is faith in Shadows of the Erdtree?
That tarnished, it seemeth.
And my lord brother's soul will return. Rise!
That thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light.
So that he may be my consort. Tarnished one, yield the path forward to us.
Now there are a couple of things I want to mention beforehand. I think you should at least listen to this first part, and if you do want to skip, I have the timestamp right here. I think I edited it into the video. First, this is not a challenge run. I'm not here with strict limitations really. It's a lot more casual. I'm playing using faith, and I just wanted to show you guys the experience leveling this stat and see what it can get you in the game. And also, I am occasionally wrong. There are times where I just look at Fextralife to get some of the information, and Fextralife can be incorrect, so I'm probably not getting all of the numbers accurately. And again, I'm not out here trying to say a more objective opinion. I will say stuff like, oh, this is the absolute best thing in the game. But again, that is just what I think. But I still do invite criticism. If I am wrong about something, comment it in the video and put me on full blast. Because I think it is more important to actually get the right information out there and give the viewers access to it. And I'll also get educated, so that's a bonus. So please definitely tell me when I'm wrong, but this also isn't like very serious. And on a side note, I am so sorry this took incredibly long to make. Literally my last video on this subject was almost a year ago. And I moved on to another video that was more of a challenge run, and it took months for me to make this one. So if you've been waiting, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's been a while. With all that out of the way, just sit back and let's enjoy the video. Alright, I don't actually know how to start this DLC up again. So I'm going... Don't I have to go to Moog?
Were you guided here by kindly Miquella? I am Leda. And like you, I was guided by faith along his honorable path. Touch the withered arm, and you too will be transported to the realm of shadow where Miquella the Kind now dwells. My compatriots are there already. Like us, they have heard kindly Miquella's call. If you can find them, they are certain to lend you aid.
So to start the DLC, we have to touch Moog's hand in a sack. What? What the? Wait, was there not a cutscene? Did I skip something? Oh my god. Come on. Wrong way. And already with the first enemy, we're getting skill issued, and I already get capped. This is not a good sign for the rest of the DLC. I wanted the smoke. I wanted to see who this man was. I was already rocking the armor, so I tried to poise through with the aspects of the Crucible tail and knock down with the horns. And even on the winning attempt, I hang on by an absolute thread. Morale is going down the toilet. But after that close encounter, we get the map to see where to go next. What is this place? Oh no, that looks rancid. Let me check it out. Oh no. And I go over and head to my first mausoleum fight. Get in there. Who wants this? So for the DLC, I'm going right now with the Coated Sword and that amazing unblockable blade, but this dude has a ranged Ash of War that closes the distance right after, but our Ash of War usually beats it, at least in range, and he's got a crossbow. Come on, that's just a machine gun right there. And the range part of his Ash of War does hefty damage, and Frozen Lightning Spear isn't good enough to trade as I die from a mistimed roll. Wrath of Gold can at least knock him back, but if I charge it, I'm just a sitting duck right there. With the armor set, the tail spell does well. I just need to position myself better, and the horns close that distance for me as well. I'm not happy with that. I used the shockwave from Fortifex's lightning spears as like a mid-range incant, which definitely could have worked. I just fumbled the bag, I'm sorry. Even that follow-up hits like a truck. I'm actually fat rolling without my rune arc, so I have to pop it mid-fight. When two-handing, I'm actually able to stun lock for a few free hits, but my poor ass drank an empty flask and got killed because of it. But as long as he doesn't two-hand, we can keep on stun locking him. When he's one-handing it, he's okay, but when he's two-handing it, it's like Syndrome, bro. Now you respect me, because I'm a threat. I am eventually victorious, but this fight took me 5 attempts. And he's not even a main boss. This dude's a nobody. Like, he's that guy trying to give you his album in the streets of New York City. But I guess I was fine with going into the DLC with 50 HP, and I realize that's a mistake. We gotta get this thing up to 60 now. But we also collect Scadutree fragments, and what these do are give you permanent increases to your damage and your damage reduction, but only while you're in the DLC. We chat to the 2 NPCs around in this area, and my viewers tell me to head to the Church of Consolation so we can kill this Black Knight right here, because he's holding the weapon that we want. It looks so powerful when it's in his hands, dude. I was getting double teamed because of a dog and I got shield bashed. To prevent that, I kept the fight mostly inside, and our Frozen Lightning Spear pretty much kills him. Just one more tap of air and he's gone. And in this church is also another fragment, and a majority of this hammer's damage is holy when you give it the sacred affinity. And I tried to go against this furnace golem like somewhat legit, but you're supposed to knock him down and then critical hit, and I'm a chef and I already know this. I'm tasting like a boot. I'm well done. I feel like I learned my lesson, so I decided to head another direction into Belurat with another tree fragment. And right here we start Onbox's quest line. The Frozen Lightning's great for hitting these groups of scorpions, and Ordova's for taking out these much bigger ones. And I'm not greedy. I'm going up to that 60, I promise you. Okay! Even when trying to sneak up on this guy, I'm getting sniped. And for right now, my regeneration mostly comes from Blessing of the Erdtree. And I'm fighting these horned warriors, and I'm telling you right now, I cannot find their poise online. I feel like From Software just forgot to put it in. And I'll at least say right now, we can do a good amount of damage with Holy on these guys. And then we go ahead and take an elevator to go further up.
I gotta get out of here!
What? Why did you go away from me? But now it's time for our first boss, the Divine Beast Dancing Lion.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance and kavod, cleanse all and poet, cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny.
With all the rest of the bosses, you'll always see me either buff up with Golden Vow or Regeneration. And this is when I first get grabbed, and it sucks because this boss has a special effect afterwards. Next time I heal, the boss also regains HP. A grab doesn't just do damage, it also resets some of my progress. So my first attempt looks like I never did any damage to this dude, but they are weak to fire. No wonder Messmer packed y'alls up. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you I'm facing 2 bosses, cause this camera while I'm in the corner. Also, I only have like 12 rune arcs left, and I prefer to use Flame of the Fell God. It tracks the boss slowly, and I can usually position it in the right area so it can take max damage. But for a while, I was actually doing pretty decent at avoiding damage, but at a certain HP, he now does lightning damage and has a fast ranged attack. Like, look at this, I have a hard time keeping up with that. And when he attacks, lightning spawns a second afterwards. So I really do have to pick my timings when to fireball so I'm not actually shotgunned by a lightning spear. What? I thought oh my god, I barely didn't get that. Now when I heal, I'm gonna fucking give him fucking child support. But the Divine Beast also has access to Frostbite, and it's not insignificant either. It can build up pretty quick to proc the effect. Honestly, even if I didn't die from the grab, I would have just gave up because of the health he gets back. But I got a good idea of his moveset, so I put the Flame Shroud and Cracked tier on, and the damage from this thing is insane. Like, I still take a good amount of hits, but it's honestly fine to trade it with this. And it's time to show you the winning attempt against this boss. And in total, it took us 5 attempts to defeat the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. We take those! We can't progress because the path ahead is blocked by thorns, so we just head south of Belurat to explore a little bit. Just get the... And we use Torrent to head on down to the Church of Benediction to find the Blessed Blue Dew Talisman. As long as you have this talisman equipped, you will restore 1 point of FP every 2 seconds for free. I might be wrong, but I think this is literally the only form of FP regeneration that doesn't actually have a cost or is a consumable, and I find it to be one of my favorite talismans I use while at least exploring, because I want to take my time when looking around and make sure I collect everything and not have to focus too heavily on FP management. But keep in mind that this is way too slow for most bosses, so before you go through the fog wall, you're definitely going to want to equip something else, but for me, this is a high tier talisman. This isn't important, I just wanted to show you my drip. I think this looks cool. Again, there's always a certain view that's just gorgeous. Nah, I was thinking that maybe this is a dragon. Wait a fucking... So, I was only prepared with fire spells before I met this dragon. Luckily, I at least did have Ordovas to deal the holy damage with. And we also had protection of the Erdtree to minimize the elemental damage. And even with a dragon being there, the enemies still insist on attacking me. And I do die, which is fine. I have a chance to go back and change my incants. So the dragon is weaker to holy, but because it's in water, an ancient dragon lightning strike is just that goated. I go with that. He canceled my casting animation. With his breath, I tried to run away and I did get stuck a little bit, and that was a little embarrassing. You know, I hope that doesn't happen again. God damn it. But yeah, lightning strike made this so easy. After that, I decided it's best to start farming for some runes because I wanted to try the Great Hammer and get it to at minimum level 24. Not only does it do more sacred damage than physical, but Sacred Blade itself gives it an extra additional holy buff on top of that. And this is me testing it out for the first time, and I one-shotted off of a light attack. Not the jar! Don't put me in the jar! Even against tougher enemies, this is like a 4-shot. But we eventually make it down to the boss, Ons, and he gets stunned off of every light attack. We break his stance and we punt that little bit. This was unintentional, but my Wrath of Gold stopped him mid-air, and then I just fully finished the job with a second one. After that, I went after the furnaces again, and with the stance damage of the Great Hammer, we were putting him down. Also used Torrent to avoid this fire more efficiently, but after a couple critical hits, this thing goes down, and these furnaces are what give you the tiers in the DLC. And I got the Deflecting Hard tier, which I don't think I'm really going to be using.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
I forgot to start recording, but I did make it to outside of Castle Ensis. Come on, bro. Why do dogs gotta be the ones to give you the most amount of trouble? And there's some Carrion Knight troll out here, which we're easily able to also stance break and get a nice juicy headshot on him. Exploring, and we find the Milady? Milady for Mr. Sins. And just testing it out, the moveset is nice, quick, fluid, but I do get the idea to pair it with armament incantations. We grab another Scadutree fragment and increase our health a bit more. I didn't even see you. I guess I see why I couldn't see you. And up ahead there's another NPC, and he already just looks dangerous, bro. Dude, that did nothing! Okay, this dude hits like an absolute truck. Last second, fearing his failing spell, he roll catches me. So we start off the fight with Black Blade to immediately get rid of some health off the board. Okay, we didn't just start off with it, we used it throughout the entire fight. Eventually, they run out of heals and we can just go over and mow them down. And for the next few minutes, me and my chat were talking about Jerkmate competitive ranked names. It would be really funny if there was a PvP category on the hub. Oh, you about to get destroyed by the #1 Jerkmate competitor. Bronze beater, silver stroker. Wait, they're comic book names? Platinum Puller, Emerald Edger, and finally Grandmaster Bayle.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
And when using their own equipment against them, bro, Black Knights really aren't a threat to me anymore. But eventually we make it outside of the fog wall, ready to face Rellana. Not only is she incredibly quick, my hammer is very slow. And she has her own carrion sorcery, so the boss is actually a spell blade. And sometimes my hammer just doesn't even hit her, and I take my first death. And I moved on to another strategy of trying to parry her, but I can't one-hand the Great Hammer. And not only that, you actually have to parry her twice in order to get a riposte. These attacks were super telegraphed, but I'm so used to her being fast, I died. I tried again, but I don't think the damage from the critical hit is worth trying to do parries. And for some reason after that, I tried to use the Deflecting Hard tier. And once we reach phase 2, she starts bringing out a lot more fire in her combat. Since I'm not that good at parrying, I still take a lot of damage that even when I guard counter, I'm eventually gonna die anyway. And for a few more attempts I tried, and sometimes when I even guard countered, she just danced away. But seeing the puddle in her arena, I start going with lightning incantations. I also brought Barrier of Gold for that 60% magic defense, and I lowered my armor so I can actually get a light load roll. I also bring the lightning shrouded cracked tier. I used Hone Bolt, and the projectile itself is fast, but the startup is slow. So my next best options was using quick one-off lightning spears. So I don't know what happened, but Rellana just didn't attack me for a while. I was able to get 4 lightning spears on her. One of my friends, Kyle, was pissed that this never happened for his fight. I already don't have that much armor, so I'm dying pretty quick. So I decided to just put the lightning scorpion charm because I'm just gonna die in a few hits anyway. It might work, but I couldn't jump over this second swing. But during the phase 2 transformation, we can land a nice Putrescent lightning spear for some good damage. And my brain must have turned off because I just forgot about this third attack right here. And this is what I mean, my boy Kyle was just pissed that she just stood still and took the lightning. At one point, I Putrescent lightning speared when I thought they would phase change. They didn't, but I still got it off. I tried to get another one, but them changing to phase 2 also is a attack. But Rellana likes to do a lot of close range, so just keep your distance, especially with Faith and Lightning and her being in the pool. After all that, we beat Rellana after 10 attempts. And anything else? What the f is that, a green lobster? I also go ahead and pick up the Great Katana. 1, because it's a new weapon type and I want to use its moveset. And 2, it can be infused while having bleed, so I can put Blood Flame Blade on it. After that, we're at Scadu Altus, where we can also get some extra Scadutree fragments. Ruined Forge Lava Intake.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
How did that not... What? Bro, I'm hacking. And after finishing the whole forge, we get the Anvil Hammer, which I do not have enough strength to wield, and an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone to get something to plus 10. Oh, you're bad. Oh, also, I took a different path, and if you go to the Fort of Reprimand, you can just skip Castle Ensis, and later on I got 3-manned by these enemies over here, just forcing their fiery stick all up inside me, so I came back with the Unblockable Blade Vengeance. I also go ahead and find 2 more Scadutree fragments. We also meet Dryleaf Dane and give him the May the Best Win emote, and this is my first time going against someone that's using hand-to-hand arts. So again, chip away some of the HP with Black Blade, and my light roll usually gives me enough distance that I can safely unblockable blade him. After beating him, we get those dry leaf arms and I give them the Sacred Affinity. And after that, we find the incantation Golden Arcs. Basically what you do is just throw 3 half McDonald's arches at your enemy. It can be charged, so it can also get affected by the Godfrey icon, and it gets a damage boost from the new Spiral Tree Seal. And I didn't want to invest any intelligence to get the Discus of Light incantation, so this is literally one of the very few incants that we have for ranged holy damage, unless you account for Black Blade's projectile attack or Elden Stars. And even with that knowledge, this incantation is just okay. I really gotta look where I'm going, bro. But for now, I'm going with fire, so I bring the Flame Art Dry Leaf and also fire incants. Dummy! Oh, you just avoided that, huh? And I was just addicted to the damage and poise I got from Palm Blast. Heroin has been power crept, and you can hear the pure joy I have in my voice killing these jars with this. Oh, you want this too? Yippee! And the boss down here is just another curse blade that we fought already at the surface. And I pretty much just kept on stun locking him with my rapid strikes. I didn't even palm blast in that scenario. After that, I just pretty much started adventuring the map to see what I could find. Give me 5! Oh. And they found a huge golem that I am not taking on right now. Bro, I just go on randoms. I group up with randoms. And we find the Cathedral of Manus Metyr. And we find Ymir. I don't know some of these names, bro, but we are at least starting his quest line. He sells some sorceries along with some new ones. We could also get Glintstone Pebble, you know, I think we can get a lot of use out of that one.
It's beautiful.
We also find Shadow's Keep, which I'm not gonna do right now, because I am frightened. I don't want all 19 inches of Messmer all up in me yet. We head on back to the Fort of Reprimand, palm blast this dude out of here, and then just finish him off with like a few slaps. I tried to go with the usual palm blast, but he pulls out the rotary copter move on me, and having higher hops than any basketball player you've ever seen. And whenever I needed a break, I got him stuck on this stairway, and I died because I mistimed 2 rolls. I was just bad. But then I realized, why even fight the boss? Giant's Flame Take Thee is enough to knock him down every single time. Hell, I don't even have to get up close to— why am I getting up close to him? Why? Okay, never mind, I'm fine. Just one more Giant's Flame Take Thee, and okay, he dodged that one. And he just decided to give me enough time to flask up, and then just hit him with one more. And whoever wrote this Battlefield's Priest cookbook was not cooking. As a chef, I do not claim him, and you'll see in a second why. And then we get Aspect of the Crucible Wings, the Ash of War. This is literally the same exact move that we just went against that Black Knight with. And you can put it on a variety of weapons, but it does get that spinning attack when you have it on Twin Blades specifically. And I just need to talk some shit for a second, because we have right here the Festive Grease, which you can make from that cookbook. It's a buff that when applied to the weapon, every time you hit an enemy you get 25 runes, and it adds 100 holy damage, which is 20 less than the new holy grease added to the DLC, and it's on a 60-second timer. If you literally have no other buffs and you're butt-ass naked out there and have nothing else, I can see you using this. But it also takes blessed bone shards to make, which there are only a limited amount, and if you want more, you're gonna have to grind them. And yet, it's still somehow better than the Needle of Eternal Agony from Demon Souls. But we head on down to the basement of this fort, and down here we find America's Rune, which gives you 80,000 runes for popping it. So yeah, with the Great Katana's natural bleed, I just thought Bloodflame Blade would go hard on this. Follow him. He's gotta stop. Oh, and I also found an Iris of Oculation, and it is a quest item that you can use to get 2 different weapons, or you can use it on yourself, consume all of your runes, and then give yourself the Great Rune effect. And I thought this was a reusable consumable for some reason, so I just instantly popped it. Can't change that, and there's a Ghost Flame Dragon boss right in front of this fort. And from what I'm reading, Stone of Garrock doesn't do strike damage, so he's actually very resistant to our incant. I just tried to stay back and throw as many boulders as I can while the knights were distracting him and dealing some sort of damage, but God's strongest Black Knight was still in the fight. But eventually, even he goes down, and the dragon lights up the whole area like it's some sort of disco. We got enough stance damage to get a critical hit, and just Stone of Garrock him finally to death. So I have a chance to actually use the Great Katana with Bloodflame, and again, it looks cool and it's putting in numbers. We also find another cave to head on into. Beast Claw has a chance to shine against these lava enemies, and the messages were telling me to fall down this waterfall. I shouldn't have listened. And from this we get the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword. And I gotta say, I really do think this is a cool weapon, but it's mainly about strength with actually a little bit of arcane investment. And out in the wild we find one of Messmer's fanboys, and it's an NPC fight, so the range from the katana and the bleed does pretty well here. I don't really have any poise, so I can't go too crazy, but once they tried to heal with no flasks, it was wraps for them. We collect 2 more Scadutree fragments, and you can also drop a warming stone for this one enemy that is not hostile. It's nice to do some good for once. Show some love to your loved ones. I also go ahead and talk with Ansbach, and I think this other dude's name is Moore. And I didn't grab the footage of it, but we just got the Spell Drake Talisman +3. And just to let you all know, there is a +3 talisman for all of the elemental damages, increasing your resistance to them by 22%, except the Pearl Drake Talisman, which gives you 11% to all elements. And there is one for Holy Negation, but it technically isn't like a shield looking talisman. It goes by the name Holy Braid, but it essentially does the same thing as these other ones. We head to the Fog Rift Catacombs, and down here I'm using the Milady with Electrify Armament and also aspects of the Crucible Wings. I'm Johnny, I can handle a pounding. And the damage with this buff is actually pretty decent. And without it, the damage goes in the toilet against regular enemies. Oh! You tried? No! Don't close that mouth, bitch! Even against Black Knights, I'm able to trade comfortably. And we get another incantation, Electro Charge. So essentially you bring lightning down on you and it hits in an AoE, and you get a lingering lightning effect on you that damages anybody around you for a little bit of damage. I might be wrong, but I think the damage is in the single digits. And this incantation is terrible on both of its effects really. It's really slow to cast, and if it's already going to take you a long time to do it, you might as well just use Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike. And the lingering lightning damage after casting it is actually considered a body buff, and it doesn't do any poise damage at all, so any enemy will just regenerate their poise even if you have this on. And let's be honest, would you rather have this over Flame Grant Me Strength, one of the fortification spells, or even Boiled Crab? This incantation fails on like everything. And down here we also get Blink Bolt. It allows you to dash to your enemy while also giving you iframes while you dash. It takes more startup frames to actually dodge something, so don't use it specifically for that purpose, but using it to close the distance while occasionally avoiding an attack, I don't think it's bad. And we also get the Stone Sheathed Sword, which we're going to be using later on to get another weapon. And down here we're going against a boss that is very bad against our build, the Death Knights. Unless I'm hitting him with a pierce attack from my Milady, he is 40% resistant to all of my attacks. And he's also wielding one of the best lightning incantations in the game. This is not an enemy I can just stand there and eat his attacks. The only way I get some decent damage is from critical hits. And this 3-part combo really got me a lot of times. I was stubborn. I didn't want to reset to the beginning of the catacombs to get a different build. All I really did was pull lightning damage negation and continue forward. And because of the angle, some of his lightnings that would hit the pillar go around it. And his grab attack regenerates his own HP. I think he got like 35 to 40% of it back right there. The good news, however, is you are able to backstab him, but he is just so aggressive.
Did you pray today?
And when he does this charge swiping attack, he just deletes your health bar. Run away, bro. You cannot fix her. But I did learn to start getting better with my positioning and end up with a backstab at the end of his combos and avoiding those really unfair grabs, bros. I got enough distance from this whole lightning area attack, and then with just a couple more swipes, we kill the Death Knight. He drops his twin axes as well as the Crimson Medallion +3, which increases our max HP by 10%. And these axes have an Ash of War, which is Blink Bolt, and also an attack afterwards, which is nice for catching up to enemies. We go and find another Scadutree fragment, and we get the best healing incant in the game, Heal from Afar. It gives just as much HP as Lord's Heal, but it costs less, and you don't have to remain stationary when using it. You can still move around as if you were using a flask, and it doesn't even have a high faith requirement to use the damn thing. So many times people will aim this, point it at their feet, and just heal themselves with it. Sometimes you can do it mid-boss fight. I still think using a flask is actually faster, but this incant still offers an insane amount of healing. Do not sleep on this thing. It can bring you back from the brink of death. Also, another little homie we can feed our warming stone to. You deserve some love. Get a map for Rau Ruins, and we also find the two-handed sword talisman, and it's simple and straight to the point. You get a 15% damage increase when two-handing a weapon. So if I ever want to just hit something harder, I put this thing on. I also got vigor up to 60, and that's where I'm gonna leave it for now, because you only get 6 HP with anything beyond that. I got my max, I'm good. And right here, I just wanted to try Electro Charge actually in the DLC, and the surrounding lightning does do more than a single digit, but the bar was already really low. Again, it's nice, but it's just not worth it. This is Hero far tested in the wild. That was worth it. I know I'm Johnny Sins, but you're not supposed to do it to me. This rune bear is huge, so I just went back to using Frozen Lightning Spear, which I haven't used in a while, and being a big, bumbling, stupid fuck, we were able to kill him with it. When is this bozo gonna make his way to Bayle Zone? What, Bayle Zone? I have you for 3 minutes in the Bayle Zone. 3 minutes of playtime. And there's another bear who's bigger and red and actually has a boss health bar. Again, using Black Blade to just destroy that maximum HP. I also brought Poison Mist because I thought he was slow enough for me to actually get it off on him, and it did. And a lot of times I got hit because I forgot about this follow-up attack with his claw in the ground. I was going with Holy, but against this guy you'd rather go with Fire since he's 20% weak to it. But these swipe attacks actually deal damage twice, so I was very confused and I died. I popped a rune to increase my health, and it's going beyond my compass. And since this boss only does physical damage, Black Flame Protection was perfect. I usually Wrath of Gold underneath him to avoid attacks, but this Roar is an AoE, so I can't avoid it like that, and I finished the fight with an unblockable blade. And he dropped like 270,000 runes and the new incantation, the Roar of Rugalia. Yogi Bear with phase 2. He really just did phase 2 and be like, boo boo. We head to the Scorpion River Catacombs, and I invest my runes into a little bit more mind. And the Roar of Rugalia is the same attack that we faced with that other boss, and I don't really have any buffs for it, but it does pretty good damage already. First off, you can charge it, which allows you to roar a second time for free, and it gets increased by both Godfrey and the Roar Medallion. And wearing the Pelt of Rava gives you an extra 15%. I don't know why I didn't use this for the rest of the run. I think at the beginning I just thought it was bad, but I was stupid. So if you build a little bit around it, you get a lot more damage. And again, it's a pretty cheap incant compared to other ones. And in this catacomb, I kind of didn't notice that Death Blight was taking over until it was too late. And I decided to use Golden Arcs, and while yes it's unboosted, the damage itself just isn't impressing me. As long as I'm behind these Basilisk statues, I won't get Death Blight, but it seems there's no way to deactivate them. But in these catacombs we find the best incant in the game, Knight's Lightning Spear. It is a lightning spear that after hurled is followed by 4 other little lightning spears. And not only does the main lightning spear do more than the regular incantation in the vanilla game, but it's followed up with even more projectiles. And by wearing the Death Knight set, it increases it by 8% when you're rocking the whole fit. If you want to nuke something with range, this is your option. There's another knight down here that we gotta take care of, and I'm gonna tell you, this is insane. This dude gets like 6 attacks in one combo. After all that cheating, we got a chance to hit him with Black Blade while he was in mid-air. And he didn't drop anything, he was only protecting a Spirit Ash of himself. We descend further into the catacombs and just see more Deathblight eyes playing Pong. And this enemy's tracking is phenomenal. He will always hit you if you're not gonna dodge. But in this catacombs, there is a sorcerer who summons a projectile that just consistently bounces against the walls until it hits you. Or it dies out too, I know that happens. And as we finally hit the bottom, we find that the boss is another Death Knight. But we are way more prepared for him now. We have a full holy build, so he's gonna be taking a lot more damage. And I stunned him before he could finish hurling me with the Knight's lightning spear, but the other projectiles were summoned and they ended up killing me. And a lot of his attacks still stun me, and I can only Wrath of Gold to just get a little breather between all of this. But I get to return the favor with more unblockable blades, allowing me to break his stance and then get a nice juicy critical hit with it. And after the fight, we don't really get much that we need. We get the Cerulean Amber Medallion +3 for more maximum FP. After that, I'm investing all my levels into Faith until we get it up to 80. Do it! Give him the bag shots! Rim him until he's clean! There's another cave to go into. We also get the Smith Script Great Hammer. It's another one of those throwable type weapons, and for some reason it takes intelligence. And at the end, our reward is Taylu! And we also make it to the Fog Rift Fort. And there is a Black Knight who loves to tongue people, and it looks like it has a lingering hitbox, so as long as you're still in there after dodging, you can still take damage. But come on, bro, you're using a shield and I got unblockable blade. Like, the math ain't it right here. And we also get 8 level 7 smithing stones. Oh my god. There was nothing of value here. Johnny Sins gets tongued by Black Steel Knight, and there's also another giant bear called Ralva here to fight. Well, not here, I went somewhere else. And it was exactly the same fight. It went like before. I still got my clapped. Again, I eat those swipes like a beast, bro. The Coated Sword pulling its weight once again, and we get the Pelt of Rava, which, as I discussed before, will increase that Roar of Regalia by 15%. I hit my desk. No wonder you play Lance in Monster Hunter. You can't dodge for shit. Come on, bro. It's the camera. We get another Scadutree fragment and upgrade the Death Knight's twin axes. And as we venture further, we get to meet the absolute GOAT, Egon. Come on, this dude put his heart and soul into these voice lines.
My arms, my legs, each lies a bloody ruin.
And we go against an NPC who gets shredded by our lightning spear and hammered down by the axe.
Top of the morning, Chillies, get out!
And when he's low, I do my own helicopter move to keep up with him, and he goes down, like, standing there. We head into the Dragon's Pit, and the first dude we encounter is a magma worm, so we get the frozen lightning out again. And my online message PTSD kicks in, telling me not to go down here until I think maybe they're telling the truth, and this time they were. Whenever he gets really close, we fortisax him to the ground, and he just tries to use his own dragon communions. Damn, look at those moves, bro. What the fuck was he doing with all that? He was cooking! And one of his incants involves him just standing there and spewing out magma, meaning he's the easiest target we've ever seen. Hitting the ground with lightning is so cool, dude. And I really do love using these axes to end enemies that are really low on HP. And killing this boss unlocks a new area, the Foot of the Jagged Peak. Feet? Also, I decided to finally upgrade the Coated Sword to +10, and the Black Steel Great Hammer with Sacred Blade gives it about 300 holy and 250 physical damage. And we make it to the front side of Shadow's Keep, and this is in the recording. I forgot how I really got here. I just ran past all the dragons. I don't stay here though. There's also this communion, which allows you to get Bayle's incantations after defeating him. I was also at Cerulean Coast to get another Scadutree fragment. I was everywhere. And because the arena is full with water, I'm bringing all of my lightning damage. And it's time to go against the Golden Hippo. And like other bosses, he likes to constantly attack you, but I think you have a bit more windows than others. And again, we deal 20% more with everything lightning. I force fed him that spear while also dodging his grab. And then around the halfway point for his HP bar, he goes into phase 2. This dude is pretty much just a porcupine right now. But in the midst of that attack, I put on a Lord's Divine Fortification. That's bad. Which I hope helped because I was taking OD damage. And I'm gonna say this right now, I don't really know how to dodge this one jump attack. And I would have liked to get an Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike, but I don't have the poise or the time to really get it off without getting flinched, but I do some smaller ones. And I brought Black Flame Protection this time, hoping I could mitigate more damage. I don't fully know, it was still a lot, but our Knight's Lightning Spear is able to get a good stagger by the end of this fight, but I was not able to find that G spot where I could actually critical hit him, but luckily I was able to get another Knight's Lightning Spear on him to finally finish the fight, and we are gifted aspects of the Crucible Thorns. You treat Elden Ring like it's a dancing session and then just throw all those thorns around. And I'm not going to say much else because I actually didn't really use this for the rest of the run. Oh yeah, and it took us 2 attempts to take out the Golden Hippo. We go up a level in Scadutree Blessings. I also decided to just set my mind to a nice even 40. I'm incredibly surprised I did not fall off. Doesn't stop them from doing it though. Okay, no, I actually did fall off. That's embarrassing. I can't lie, after that fall, I was hungry for revenge. Bitch, get down! Alright, anyway. Yeah, that's right, get the f down out of here, unholy pieces of shit. I was fighting 2 Black Knights and I somehow avoided the projectile on the second one like every single time. And I found out there's a Golden Vow consumable version. Were people really not happy with the options we already had? This feels like a fine dining 5-star meal turned into like a Toblerone. Besides that, we find a shortcut back to the site of grace. And a little later to the side, there's a ladder which you can use to go down further.
Man, I cannot lose my job right now. I'm still paying off that painting I bought.
And also another coffin used to take you somewhere else down below. This should absolutely destroy your neck. I forgot what this place was called, but there's 2 giant furnace golems with one of them activating as soon as you get close. Don't do what I did. But I love running into walls. This has got to be one of the most dangerous attacks I think I've ever witnessed. I just whipped out my Great Hammer to try and do as much poise damage as possible. Get a nice critical, and then we get the oil-soaked crack tier. Yo! The other golem is blocking our path, so we throw another fire pot into him. Dude, that was like 75% of my HP. And in here, I find Giant Golden Arc. It's kind of like a bigger and slower version of Glintstone Arc if you ever use that. As long as it doesn't hit anything solid, it'll go past as many enemies as it can before it hits its maximum range. It's just a really effective form of crowd control. And we can turn the Stone Sheathed Sword into the Sword of Darkness. It is a sword that mostly scales off of strength with some holy damage to it, but it has a really good Ash of War darkness attached to it. Loft the sword in the air and you will surround yourself with darkness that'll damage enemies. The Ash of War does both holy damage and scales off of your faith stat, which is perfect for us. And it has an added effect of applying a debuff of minus 20% holy damage negation to anybody hit by this. And I didn't fully see the value in having a debuff, but it means you can give yourself a variety of buffs and apply this to enemies, dealing even more maximum damage. And I started power stancing this with my coated sword. So I go ahead and get this thing up to +9. Coats nearby enemies in oil. What? I'm oiling people up? Crazy. and I go ahead and take on the next Furnace Golem. And this dude gives you the blood-sucking cracked tier. This gives you plus 20% to all of your damage sources in exchange for leeching off of your health. But unless you're using like a heavy regen build, and even then I don't think it's enough, you still can't counteract the health drain. I might be wrong, but again, I'm looking at Effects for Life right now, so I'm sorry, but it's dealing about 20 damage at minimum per second. If you're going with elemental damage, you don't need this, but I like to use stuff such as Pest Threads, and this actually gives it the highest damage bonus I can give it from one single crystal tier. So it's not useful in every application, but you can make it work. Bro, I beat you as a boss. How am I still dying to you? Also, at this point, I didn't read that Revered Spirit Ashes also increase Torrent's health or defense. So yeah, he was just insta-dying. And over here, we find the Dark Light Catacombs. Elden Ring. Oh my god. Which I'm not going down yet, but I give an opportunity to Giant Golden Arc, which does pretty decent damage. And come on, this Ash of War looks so sick. And pairing it with the Coated Sword, I really get to get so much more damage out of the Holy Damage Negation debuff. We go ahead and make it into the Specimen Storeroom, take another elevator to go even further down this place, until we make it to the bridge that leads us to Rau. I decide to climb up the Specimen Storeroom, and these soldiers are actually just insane. And I find Ansbach here, so I just continue whatever questline he's got. No way, I gotta climb on them toes. We also find the Bolt Drake Talisman +3 here. Grace ahead, try fingers, but no, I can't. Grab an extra Scadutree fragment. And these dudes were putting the fear of God in me, so I just hid away and unblockable bladed when they were walking in my direction. I was a little about this, okay? He leaped to his death. Oh my god. I got a free kill right there. Spirit Calculus. How are there graces up in this building? We gotta climb on top of this architectures. What's the name of this? We also have some statues we have to maneuver up on top of. And there's a Messmer soldier up here with some really good range. So preferably I'd like to stay up close with him, even though I'm frightened. Get away! Bloodborne Maria. But after their death, we get the Ash of War Flame Spear, and it's the same exact move that we were just going up against. A ranged flame strike that can also be charged. And it has an extra benefit where it gives your weapon 90 fire damage after the attack. Kinda like how Sacred Blade works. So it's both ranged and a weapon buff at the same time. And we make it all the way up until we're outside Messmer's door. I can't keep running away from this man.
Mongrel intruder. That tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Messmer's flame.
He likes to start off the fight with a 3-pointer, but it's usually easy to avoid. And I always misjudge the range on his flames after his spear. And I just learn how quick this dude likes to maneuver and how many pierces he wants to do to my heart. So I get my Flame Protect Me and start applying as many buffs before I look him in the eyes. But after his first attack, I can occasionally get a Black Blade unless he decides to dodge it, but even then I can unleash another. And there was no way I was surviving this grab. This thing already does like 80% of my health anyway. And I'm also surprised not only how accurate his spear attack is, but the range he has, because he always clips me. And Unblockable Blade does not do enough damage to warrant a trade for it. But in phase 2, he's apparently 40% resistant to holy damage as well. But I also accept that a lot of my own greed blocked me from doing even more, because after this I didn't even decide to heal. I tried to use faster incantations like Bestial Sling, but there was literally no point, it does nothing. However, getting better at avoiding the grab is so crucial because I don't want to reset that early. But I was dying very fast, so I switched to much heavier armor and using the Black Steel Great Hammer. And I at least made enough progress to make it into his second phase.
I will not suffer. Our Lord, devoid of light. No, Mother, forgive me. Soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
And with phase 2, he does pretty much like to do the same exact move at the very beginning as well. Same timing, honestly, for me. And again, from what I'm reading, his holy negation goes down to 0 once he's in second phase, so this should be slightly easier. But hitting me in the air allows him to combo me once he comes back down. But I did find opportunities to get some nice charge hits on him, allowing me to get even more critical hits throughout the fight. And usually a good chance is also when he comes out of his snake form. I just usually didn't recognize that, or my hammer is just too short. And I didn't really have that many issues, I'd say, with it. I usually tank one of these snake attacks, and after that just make it out of the attack unscathed. I did have my best attempt up until this point, and I didn't have any more flasks, so I couldn't heal, and I lost. And this is just an example if you don't roll through this whole attack.
America, a curse upon thee.
And I'd say currently, this is the hardest boss I have come across because it took me 25 attempts to finally take him down. After the fight, we're able to trade Messmer's Remembrance for Messmer's Orb, and it gets boosted by the new Fire Knight Seal. Essentially, lift yourself up in the air until you come crashing back down with an explosion shortly after. Now, for me, I think this thing is pure aura, but you gotta be careful since apparently it's got no hyper armor. I did not have to do that much damage. We chatted up a little bit with Ansbach back in the specimen storeroom, pass on a note that he had for Freyja, and I did take on Messmer, but I didn't really explore the extent of Shadowkeep, so I just went back to see as much stuff as I still could collect. Got Rune of an Unsung Hero for 50,000, and we take an elevator to actually go again into the specimen storeroom, but into an area that was completely inaccessible to us, and kill this dude who gives us a new incantation, and we get Fire Serpent. It's like summoning a projectile that lingers around you for a second before actually going in for the target, so it's a delayed projectile. And if I'm being honest, the range on this thing is piss poor. I'd say its best thing about it is that it hones in on a target instead of being arched like some other flame spells, but I don't always see the purpose in using this. You already know my cheeks clench up when I'm on any scaffolding in these types of games, and even getting so lucky that when I do fall I didn't actually die from it. But Sacred Blade was actually a really good option to take out many of these flying or ranged enemies. And from here we get Wrath from Afar, and I would closer compare this to a ranged Rejection. It does deal damage, but its main purpose I'd say is to at least knock enemies down or back. I wouldn't know, I didn't use this damn thing for the rest of the run either. I feel like that's with a decent amount of these incantations. And there's also another elevator to bring us further down. I feel like I've said that so many times just going through Shadowkeep, and we make it to an area where I already know this is where you fight Geis. So I run. We collect a Scadutree fragment, and by standing in front of this statue and doing the Oh Mother emote, we gain access to the Hinterlands. And back at Shadowkeep, we find a lever that allows us to drain all of the water in the bottom level. Oh shoot! Johnny made him burst! That's what I do best. We also go ahead and acquire the Fire Knight Seal, increasing all of Messmer's incantations by 15% when this is equipped. And there's only 3. Grab another Scadutree fragment. So many elevators! Oh dear God. Oh dear God. And the water reveals an ulcerated tree spirit afterwards. I faced a lot of these in Night Rain. I know what I'm doing against these guys. And after killing it, we get a new sorcery, Mantle of Thorns. I don't think it even deserves time to explain it. Roll the next clip. Roll the next clip. Bro, there's so many of them. I'm tired. But with this one's defeat, we get another Iris of Oculation. And I went back to the Shadowkeep Bridge so we can get another incantation. And it drops from this enemy right here who's been raining fire on this entire time. Rain of Fire. This is another Messmer incantation. When used, it creates a cloud above your head and does what its name says. It rains fire. It's like the incantation version of Founding Rain of Stars. You're gonna want to pop it when you're right next to an enemy and continue to fight in its area of effect. But I'd still prefer Burn O Flame as opposed to this. They're like complete opposites. Burn O Flame is the grill, while Rain of Fire is the salamander. And we find the Iris of Grace, and when using its questline, you can either get one of 2 spirit summons, so I don't need it. And it works like the Iris of Oculation, but you don't have to spend any runes to get the Great Rune effect. It's pretty much a Great Rune. But now it's my turn to fight the Scadutree Avatar. And I wanted to give Messmer's incantations a chance to shine during this fight. Alright, pussy, let's do this! Because this guy's such a big target, Rain of Fire actually does decent. Oh my god, that's good damage. And it hurts to see it do that much damage, and I go for Messmer's orb and hit a crisp 0. And my timing was bad on these Thorns attacks, leading to me getting bled a lot. Too many times. I died right there. That's too many times. But I also didn't even have my Flame Shrouded tier, so I could have been doing even more damage. I also should have known not to buff right in front of this dude because he could just hit me with more thorns. That was just dumb on my part. But once we get both to land, a combination of Rain of Fire and Messmer's orb takes away half of his HP, and the Fire Serpent again is able to track his head and stay on it and do massive damage. And you're gonna want to get this critical hit, because if you don't, he'll enter second phase with full HP. And I tried to catch him with a Rain of Fire as soon as he emerged from the ground, but he charges you, leaving my area of effect. And he does charge like 3 times with different timing to them, so I was immediately eliminated. They also have this homing projectile attack that does both holy and magic apparently, and you see my issue with the range of Fire Serpent. It couldn't even finish him off, when if it landed, it definitely would've. And we do eventually get past his phase 2, which is literally just phase 1 with another health bar. But after his second phase, he does this huge nuke, and this nuke also shoots out holy beams, which do massive damage. I eventually tried to go hand to hand, but honestly the Fire Serpent might have just been better. And during this attack, I'd rather just buff and then tank the first one, but a lot of attempts ended because of his charges. They were really hard for me to read. However, my jumping attacks did do a significant amount of damage. And I did switch up my Messmer incantations for the other fire ones. Messmer, you're great, but these options are just better. Just the range from Giant Flames Take Thee does so much better. And with Lord's Divine Fortification up, I was able to at least eat these. My character must have been hungry. But eventually we did make it to the finish line with these other flame incantations, and it took us 9 attempts. And we also got Miquella's Great Room, which is useful for the final boss. Guys, it's all kiss and make up because that's what Alex would want, for us to be gay and happy. Yes! Yeah! And once we're done with that, we're moving on to an area with living foliage. And over here, I got much more use out of Messmer's incantations, getting that acceleration and charging into a bunch of enemies to put them all on their knees. Bro, I'm giving them all 18 inches of my Messmer right now. And we can also trade the Scadutree's Remembrance for Land of Shadow. It's kind of like Elden Stars, but you actually invite them to the party. Just summon a bunch of projectiles and then they hone in on a target. We know this, and unfortunately there is no talisman to give it a boost in damage. I also duplicated the Remembrance so we can also get the Sunflower, which is a great hammer, and it's good, but I'm not really a strength and faith type build. So again, this one is going to the back pocket. I'm sorry. Alright, chat, I'm gonna have to ask, was this a little bit of overkill or nah? And the next class of enemy we gotta go against are these Scorpions. I also went back and got the Claw Talisman to increase the damage of my jump attacks with these Dry Leaf Arts. We go ahead and get another Scadutree Fragment along with another one just outside. And out here we have another Crucible Knight, who I swear they must have taken inspiration from Fulgur from. That's literally like my favorite Night Rain boss. But in the middle of our fight, we got third-partied from across the bridge by another Furnace Golem. He died though, and it takes a while to get across the bridge so we can actually meet this Golem, but if you force him to attack you at an angle, it's much easier to dodge his whole blast. And the only purpose to killing this dude was just to get him out the way because he's annoying. His Crimson Tier was awful. It just regenerates a percentage of HP whenever you hit a target for only 45 seconds. And this flower out here drops a new incantation, Aspects of the Crucible Bloom. You know those regular flower enemies that spawn like a ray of light wherever you are? That's what this thing does. And I'm telling you, it's only good against stationary targets. I could see it doing well against Fortisax, but like anything else, I think this incantation is just booty. We use the shackle so I don't actually have to find this thing for the spirit spring, and I was gaslit. I really thought I was gonna reach the very top of this place. You're just spewing out a bunch of feather-like projectiles, and it costs so much FP. It's like a machine gun, but if a machine gun was shooting like teddy bears. I repeat, don't use this unless you're doing a challenge. Maybe then that'll be fun, but don't use this. Are you saying it has faith scaling, yet it doesn't have a an affinity? I actually don't know. Do they really have like infinite poise? Like, this is a real question. We also find the mottled necklace to increase all resistances by 100, and there's a cave with insects and rot. So I know we gotta be close to Romina. Okay, this is how Pest Thread feels, huh? They also have Pest Thread spears, which means they're doing even more damage than normal. They did knock me off my horse, but I was luckily able to get to the elevator before any of them could kill me. And over here we find Pest Thread spears. So like Pest Threads, it shoots out some threads. Fuck. But in this instance, they are two larger ones that deal much more damage. So if you just wanted an upgrade that hits even harder, you found it. We also found Romina's boss arena. And this time I actually wanted to bring back the Black Flame incantation because I haven't used them in a while. And it's time to face the Saint of the Bud. I usually use quick blood flames because I just wanted to get that 3% of HP. Is it really a surprise if I tell you that these guys are fast? Hitting me with a multitude of combos. Hell, there are times I don't think I can even get a one quick black flame on her. And the grab isn't just dangerous because of its HP, but it's most likely going to give you Scarlet Rot as well. One good thing is that some of the centipede's attacks can just be jumped over, and she launches herself up like a drone and then just insta spikes me, and you hear me getting a little bit annoyed. No. Okay. But I see you are actually able to dodge her full combo. I have seen an ounce of light. And I was hit a lot by this rolling attack, but I think it's just because I didn't actually roll towards her. Okay, I'm dead. Wait. I could fuck up. Yep, okay. But I never feel like I can actually catch a break from her. She's just always on the offensive. However, we did eventually get her ass with Black Flame too. And there we go, we beat Romina in 6 attempts. It wasn't too bad, but I did get annoyed frequently due to her speed. We go ahead and almost get Faith up to level 80, which is where we're gonna stop. And Romina is not an optional boss. So we use Messmer's flame to burn this tree to allow us to enter Enir Ilium. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correct. And I go there for just a little bit, but I still wanted to explore all of Raoult now. And on this map, I wanted to get onto this bridge, but I didn't fully know how to. You gotta go to another part of the map that allows you to fall onto these other pillars. And luckily there were already messages down here, so I know you can at least survive the fall. And it all leads to an elevator that does bring you up top to the bridge that I was looking for. And there are some giant golem archers here that we had to take some cover from, knock them out real quick so they're no longer a bother. And after jumping off the end of the bridge, we find another divine beast out in the wild. But this one's a little different, because not only can this one produce Deathblight, it also spawns Deathblight basilisks with it. So it's actually spawning minions with it, all on top of already still being a nuisance. He still has his other elements, he just has an extra one added to shuffle around with. Like good old usual frostbite. And even if I didn't die from this grab, he would have healed whenever I flasked, so it felt hopeless anyway. I did occasionally get close to hitting that whole Deathblight meter, and I try to target the basilisks, but they're always so jumpy, so it feels like just wasting time to even just attempt to kill them. And while doing that, he could just hit me with his own ranged ice. But you are allowed to somewhat exit the arena, where I use some of the pillars as cover against the divine beast while I killed the other basilisks. And sometimes when I did use incantations, the basilisks tanked it just so the divine beast wouldn't have to get hurt.
Get down, Mr. President!
They gotta find a way to protect their little Pookie. But since the Deathblight breath doesn't actually stagger me, sometimes I just tanked it to get another attack off. And they tried super hard to block my last incantation, but even then I was able to get one more Black Flame off and kill the second divine beast. And next up would be Geist, who is an Albinoric, which means he takes extra damage to Holy. And because he has a long time to just catch up to us, I have enough time to get a Land of Shadow off on him. He took no damage. Okay, I think that's the only time I've ever dodged his charge attack. But not only do you have to be careful about him attacking, you have to watch out for his boar when it attacks. And again, I went back to my coated sword for that occasional unblockable blade length, but a lot of times I died because I just forgot to even look at his ride when he's attacking me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever dodged it again since then. Be honest with me, what do you do here? I actually don't know what to do against this all-out assault. This whole giant gravity attack is so flashy, and I still think it's way fairer to dodge than anything else he's done up until this point. And not only that, he has like a gravitational bomb that occasionally goes off, so I have to roll away from that constantly. But eventually, we do take down Geist in 3 attempts. And trading his remembrance, you can get one sorcery, which I can't use, or also the sword lance, which I didn't pick up, but I don't know if this is fully true, but I'm checking Fextra. Again, I'm sorry. It says it can be infused with different affinities, so I'm guessing it is somewhat possible to give it sacred, but again, I didn't use it because I thought it wouldn't be good in my hands. Which allows us to go to this building behind Geis, which is housing an extra 5 juicy Scadutree fragments. And we finally max our faith all the way up to 80. That is the hard cap, so we're not going to be putting any more points into that. And we go to the hinterlands to fight a tree sentinel, and Pest Thread Spears does good damage despite not hitting multiple times. With the spears as my ranged option, I use my longsword with the flame spear buffed as my close range, and I was hitting this dude multiple times. The fight was going very smooth, and at the very end I lost connection to the Elden Ring server, which means I had to do that fight all over again, which is fine. Which is fine. We just cheese that shit anyway. And after that, we happen upon the shaman village, and here we find the incantation. Oh no. Minor Erdtree. Essentially what you do is just plant a tree down at your feet, and as long as you stay in its radius, you will regenerate HP. And this is at least the fastest form of HP regeneration in the game. You can get up to 1000 HP back in just a matter of 30 seconds with this thing. But honestly, since you have to be in proximity to it and it only lasts 30 seconds, I think you should just use heal from afar. It offers basically the same, if not even more HP in much less time, because after you cast it, it's instant, and you don't have to confine yourself to one spot. And not only that, this incantation requires 70 faith to be used. I'm pretty sure that is the highest faith requirement in the entire game. If you want an incantation that can heal you quickly, just go with heal from afar. Not only that, we find Holy Braid, which again offers that 22% elemental resistance to holy. We keep on pushing forward and find another site of grace and another falling star beast to fight over here. And Pest Thread Spears just chunks his HP because of his long wind-ups sometimes. Look, this dude's just walking over here.
Listen, we don't talk like that, we don't say things like that, you understand? Do you understand?
Okay, sorry. Forget about it.
So yeah, I just spammed that incantation and he goes down. And there's another like finger crater down here, so I brought Frenzied Burst to snipe down anybody trying to hit us with glintstone nails and those creepy hands, chucking the occasional fire pot to save some FP. Then we get to the sounding hanging bell and all over that thing. Come on, Johnny knows what he's doing. He's got the business down. And after giving that thing the sloppy, we get the Cerulean Seed Talisman +1 to increase our FP gain from a Cerulean Flask. But I really don't need it. I already have too much mind. And this is why I sniped all those enemies, because this is what happens when they hit you and they try to grab you. I'm lucky that he missed twice. But there is a weapon I want to get, and it's at the end of Inir Ilium, and I don't want to wait until Radahn to use it. And you have to do some parkour and do a lot of running to get here, but we found Euphoria, and it is a Faith Twin Blade. So this weapon is unique because as you continue to hit your targets, it will charge up and do even more damage by itself. But the best part is it also charges its Ash of War, Euphoria Vortex. Uncharged, you pretty much just spin the blade in front of you and deal direct damage, but fully charged and it adds just a holy laser beam on top of it. But you do have to work for it, and you need to have a good amount of poise, but if you're fine with that, you deal tons of damage. And because it's nearing the end of the game, I just got it up to +10. Also, I was searching for an item, and to get it, we have to get this painting over here first. And I tested the Ash of War on the enemies in the DLC, and it just melts them. After the painting, you're able to find this dude over here. He's not alive, but like, he's there. And this is where you get the Spiral Tree Seal. Now this is the seal that'll increase the damage on those golden arcs and 2 other incants. And since we're here, I decided to take on the Mausoleum boss, and it's an enemy with the new weapon type Bear Claws. But he doesn't have much poise, so we're able to stagger him out of most of his attacks. And I was feeling myself until he did this whole combo which eliminated so much of my HP. And even when I vortexed him, he's able to tank it and then stagger me out of it, which means I lose the whole charge. Eventually he couldn't escape the whole beam, so he does go down. And eventually we make it to the Dark Light Catacombs, and through here we're gonna enter a new area after we're done. And this area lives up to its name. You better have a lantern, which I'm pretty sure you do, because if you don't, you're probably not going to be seeing most of this catacomb anyway. And there's another enemy here that's spewing some absolute who we're able to take out as soon as the lights are actually turned on. And then we get Big Mouth. And we find the boss of this catacombs, Jori, who loves to summon his own minions as well. But he himself isn't that big of a deal and not that big of a threat, so that itself is fine. Honestly, I got more annoyed at this big bumbling fuck landing on top of me. And he did annoy me with those Spyro incantations, but eventually we just had the Euphoria all charged up and he's gone. Oh, isn't the thing where this is the place where I have to parry these dudes? I think it is. I start increasing my endurance, and after the fight we got the barbed staff spear. It's just like a fave spear with bleed. There's still not much special to it either. And at a certain point, you can't use Torrent because he'll be too scared of the environment around you. And there's an NPC over here who likes to use Madness against us, and I just tanked all of his hits and killed him with Euphoria. But if he did get that Madness off, I think I would have died. But now we're in the Abyssal Woods. The enemies are filled with madness. It even looks like sometimes the water itself is filled with madness. And I thought it was at least unique. They have a Frenzy Flame perfume bottle here, allowing you to deal the status effect with it as a weapon, but it also requires intelligence. And there are these enemies that look like winter lanterns from Bloodborne, and they are impervious to all types of damage unless you parry them. I'm actually surprised I survived this grab over here, just barely. But yeah, parry them and then you can kill them like normal. And I might be wrong, but I'm assuming most people that went through this area got insta-killed whenever they got grabbed, which is much more annoying because then you have to do the run back every single time, and there are multiple of these dudes in the area. And also, I don't know what happened here. Maybe it's because I was in the madness animation, he wasn't able to grab me, but I survived death. And we reach a mansion with the front looking like it's from a Mexican cartel live leak video, but we don't have time for that. We gotta go on inside right now. I touched it. Oh, but only one. Oh, when he thrust his staff in my. Oh, I pressed this. Oh, and then I would touched it. Oh, the aging attack. Oh. Be wary of the left. That bastard fucking lied. Never trust anyone online. There's some levers you gotta activate throughout this place, and I also get some extra shadow runes. And the giant golden arc once did work when there were a bunch of enemies in front of me. And we also got Nanaya's torch, which I already know this as the weapon that people always recommend in Chase the Bros invasion videos. This is where I get my revenge for when we were in that boss fight with Jori. And we are outside Midra's boss room, and I put some stuff to give myself focus because I do not want madness to proc very often. The best part about this beginning phase is I get enough hits off to fully charge my Euphoria for when he changes into Midra.
Enough. I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
So being the Lord of Frenzy Flame, whenever he hits you with his own frenzy, you are obviously going to be building up madness, which I was not being careful of. And I tried to get a vortex off, but he did stagger me in the middle of it. And once he procced madness, it was over for me. And I did bring the Godfrey icon, but looking back, I don't think it actually affects Vortex. But also for this fight, we're going to be using our Great Runes. And I'm not going to lie, all of the greed in the world lit up in my eye when I saw how much damage I could pull off with a whole Vortex on Midra. I was hunting for that, and I got impatient very often. I will say, I think it's very cute that he does have one of these attacks that you can duck the entirety of. He also can just nuke the entire room, and it's so close quarters, it's hard to get away from, and he has his own grab. And don't be deceived by the range. He can close that distance quick, and he pretty much has his own vortex of frenzy flame. And if you're caught in the middle of all of it, you're gone. But there are some frenzy flame attacks you are able to jump over. And I also used his first phase to buff in the same room as him because I didn't want to do it outside the door. And I have not found a consistent way to dodge this attack, so I eventually just tried to at least block it whenever it was coming. And you still have to be careful after you dodge his grab because it has a follow-up attack attached to it. And I think this is one of the only times I had enough distance to actually fully avoid this attack. And there we go, we beat Midra. And it only took me 10 attempts to actually do it. I was kind of surprised with myself. I thought it would have taken much more. I go ahead and get another level in the Scadutree blessings, upgrade my endurance even higher. Also, we have the Great Sword of Damnation. That's the exact same sword that Midra was using. And it does also have that same grab attack, which is its Ash of War, which I don't think it's that good for PvE, but there is one point in Near Ilium where I definitely could have used this. And we can also get Midra's Flame of Frenzy. I'd say it's equivalent to a larger and wider unendurable frenzy, but it really eats up at your FP cost, and I don't really justify it when I'm missing so many shots in exchange for even more FP ticking down. After that, we return to the foot of the Jagged Peak, with here being a dragon we can face immediately, and he's also surrounded by water. This is bad news, bros. I was going with a little combination, going with Knight's Lightning Spear, giving the occasional mix up with the Dragon Hunter's Katana, and once he's down, giving him an Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike to finish it all off. And before going to fight Bayle, I actually wanted to go to the Cerulean Coast. Okay, trust me, I might be able to survive this. Damn it! And there's a decent amount of water in this area, so I decided the fire build wouldn't do so well, so I reverted back to more electricity, which was good because now these Tibia Marias like to summon revenants. He just avoided my strongest incantation. I hate you. But it's alright taking out the revenant, and we just gotta chase down the Tibia Marina because again they just like to teleport to different little ponds. He ran out of Revenant reserves. He's summoning regular skeletons now. And I give Minor Erdtree a try just to see the little tree itself. It is adorable, bro. Don't ever change. I'll shit talk you, but don't ever change. Minecraft YouTubers love this Erdtree, bro. Honestly, go with Holy when you're in this area, because we also find a Deathrite bird around here who manages to land himself on top of this rock pillar, so I couldn't get him. Okay, he's gone. But I still had lightning, so I just started using that, and we also got Ghost Flame Call, Ash of War. And eventually we run into a new Furnace Golem who you can't knock down, so you have to resort to jumping up to another hill to throw fire pots into his hole. So I started crafting them and just chucking them right inside of his cranium. And after that he goes down to 3 or 4 of them. But he gives us a crystal tier we don't really use because it involves summons, I think. And it's a long way to the bottom, so we use these tombstones to shorten our fall. Go ahead and collect another Scadutree fragment. Oh nah, this boss didn't even see it coming. This was just completely unfair. I also just Skyrim'd my way up to this boat over here. I didn't actually want to find the entrance, so I just left through the entrance. And there's another cave that takes us all the way out closer to the ocean on like a miniature island with another mausoleum boss to fight who is Dancer of Rellana. And I was pretty much pulling out my own dance moves with double slash, and she gets staggered very easily. This was a good fight for me here, boys. Eventually she goes down and gives you her armor set, just increasing the damage of dance type moves. Find another Furnace Golem to put out of his misery, who gives you the Viridian Hidden Tier, which removes all stamina usage for 15 seconds. I think it's a lot more niche and not as valuable as the Cerulean Hidden Tier. But behind that golem, we notice that there's like a little valley, and we parkour our way up to the higher levels, where we eventually find another cave that is filled with these blood fiend enemies, where I tried to sneak into the middle and get an ADLS, but one dude found me and put a stop to my shenanigans, saving the flock. And there are a lot of them, but I eventually started fighting them one by one since it took them a while to even get up here. And once they were all grouped up, I just frozen lightning speared everybody. This is for y'all in the back too. And they're pretty much in one-shot range after that. And we reached the boss, the Chief Blood Fiend, who I think is easier than what we just faced because we were going against like 10 Blood Fiends. And I think this is an earlier game boss because he really doesn't do that much damage. But yeah, it was super easy. We took him out with lightning, and all we really get to show for it is his spirit summon. This must suck to always watch, but I just ADLS another Ghost Flame Dragon. The damage! If you want to make your playthrough boring, go with lightning. Go with lightning incants. Wait a minute. My whole fucking screen went black. I'm playing via my OBS. What the hell? Wait a minute. My TV? I don't know. Wait. I'm playing through OBS. So the worst thing happened. My TV, I think, just broke. I couldn't watch from it anymore. Like, I tried my best, but I couldn't see anything. I don't think I was even turning it on. Actually, the light source wasn't turning on. So for pretty much the rest of this playthrough, I was playing via OBS, which was fine. There honestly wasn't really any delay into my button presses. I just really did have to occasionally squint to see what I was looking at. So after that, I actually make it to this humongous crater out here, and I do already know the boss coming up is weak to holy, so I just armed myself with a lot of that. And for some reason I thought that all you had to do was just jump down and it would negate all your fall damage like other heights. And it took a while, so I actually thought I was kind of right, but I did of course eventually die. On the right side, you're supposed to do much smaller jumps to get all the way down, and we make it to the Stone Coffin Fissure. And this is just for an example, but Wrath from Afar doesn't do much. Again, its main purpose is to knock enemies back with it. We collect another Scadutree fragment, and be careful traversing because some of these rock enemies are attempting to snipe you. But I actually had perfect rhythm when it came to these two trying to multi-hit me. So I died to this Leonine Misbegotten, but he also fell, and when he dies he gives you a new incantation. It's an incant that lets you summon rings of light that actually stay at their position after hitting an object or a person. Again, I'm sorry, I didn't use it. I need to do it more often. And here is a fall that you are expected to go through and just don't take any fall damage from. Again, this is what I thought would immediately happen. And eventually we go against the Putrescent Knight. And yeah, we beat him in one attempt. I really do think I was over leveled and I brought an immense amount of holy damage. He stood no chance. You already know we're continuing to increase our endurance even further. And then we make our way to talking to Saint Trina. I think this is her, right? And we go over and imbibe her nectar. And just know you should take away my keys after I do this. What? Forget the death. We have more to go explore. We got some fingers that need my mouth on them. Babe, the Bayle OST stays on during sex. Is that a finger or is that... I can't tell what enemy that is. I'm too far from my screen. Also, for some reason out here, there's another coffin that lets you duplicate another remembrance. And we also, oh my god, Johnny, do it at home, will ya? But after ringing that bell, we also acquire the Crimson Sea Talisman +1. It increases the HP you get from your Crimson Flask by 30%, which means you should get about 1,000 HP every time you drink it now. This is too good. But after we wrung those 2 finger nuts, we're able to talk to Ymir and get him to move off of his throne so we could now explore the underneath of the church. Okay, this was a long ladder. I should have sped my way. There we go. And I already knew that we were about to fight an NPC, so I buffed up and I busted out the unendurable frenzy, constantly hitting the NPC and eventually proccing madness for the kill. I didn't even use the frenzy seal. I didn't fully know if I was facing madness right here, so when I did realize that, I just left so I can make my build a bit better. Because of finger and finger cuts, I brought Blood Flame Blade, and Metyr's a big target, so I brought the Pest Thread Spears, and I decided to actually try the Blood-Sucking Cracked tier. And I'm gonna let you hear the live commentary of my first attempt with Metyr. Oh fuck, I still can't. Bleed. Bad timing. Whoa. Oh my god. Oh, I'm out. So yeah, we beat them in one attempt. And not only that, we never got to see their huge, like, magic attack. The one that everyone says you cannot actually dodge through. It honestly feels like I skipped a huge chunk of the fight. I'm sorry, what? Dude! You didn't even get to see the cosmic wave. No, we didn't! That shit was... Oh my god! Faith is so viable, bro! Faith is so goated. After that, all we have left really is Jagged Peak. And there is a boss where 2 dragons are actually fighting each other and we can get in between the middle of it.
Hey, he was talking to me! No, he was talking to me! Why, you...
And because of them being distracted, I brought Scarlet Aeonia, because it seems like I at least have enough time to proc Rot, potentially. And watching them go at it, this was kind of cinematic. So they were affected by the Scarlet, not too affected by my Stone of Garox, but the second dragon goes down with the main one already losing like 60% of its health. And after that, just a few more spheres and a few more Stones of Garox, and it goes down. I also met Egon again, so I had to stop by and just listen to his voice acting once again.
What a sight. A warrior true, if ever one there was. A fellow Drake warrior. Egon. Piteous Egon. Do you not remember? Conjure your past. How once you were. When fear was yet foreign to you.
I also checked out Romina's Remembrance, and we get the incantation Rotten Butterflies. You sort of spin yourself into the air and summon a bunch of butterflies around you, and when they explode, they deal rot buildup. Oh, and just for anyone to know, it says that the incantation does physical damage, so it's not elemental, and this variant of Scarlet Rot says it does pretty much 30% of anything's HP over 90 seconds. And since I'm facing dragons, I thought this was the perfect option for them. And as you go up, you just have to avoid these boulders trying to roll down your way. There's a dragon over there hitting the so we buff up, and this time the roles were reversed because he does lightning while we're in a little pond, meaning I take even more damage. But underneath his legs I get a Rotten Butterflies off, and I don't have to finish the whole incantation, so even if I'm knocked out of it, the butterflies still explode. And I was getting chipped very often from the lightning that comes from the water underneath me. It was tough getting some pest thread spears on him too with how much he was attacking me. And I did eventually die to the blood-sucking cracked tier. But during the next fight, I got another Rotten Butterflies right at the start, and he does fire damage, and I wasn't in the water when I got hit by this. That green goblin greed was really hitting me because I wanted to get a charged spears, but I just couldn't. When we have the opportunity, when he's nice enough to give it to us, we do chunk his health with 2 of them. I really don't know how I didn't get hit by the fire breath. It looks like I was right there, but we only have a little bit of HP left, so we just stone him down. And the rest of the trip getting up was pretty unimpeded.
Come on! Oh my god.
And we finally made it to Bayle's arena. And I had to get Egon in here for the fight. He has to get his run back. That's a grab! In first phase, he wasn't dealing that much damage until he decided, nah, I'll just kill you. No, I'm done with this. And I'm just going to show you how my second attempt goes.
With a hail of harpoons! With every last drop of my being! Bayle the Dread! You shall haunt me no longer!
We beat Bayle in 2 attempts. Is that him? What's going on? And all we have left is Enir Ilium. And I'm bringing mostly my fire incants for this place. It's you again. My Messmer incants are dealing absolute chunks. Ow! And we're slightly pestered by these dudes dealing some golden arcs. We also acquire one of the most annoying incants to go against, Spira, summoning spirals that attack whoever is locked onto, and you can continually use it as long as you have the FP or stamina. And we find a Divine Beast Warrior who knocks me out of my Messmer Orb explosion, like seriously? He's one of the few enemies here that isn't an absolute pushover. So I do have to use my best strategy against him. Running. And up next is one of the most annoying stair sections because there's two enemies locked onto you with their own Spiras. And if they get a combo going, your HP is dropping. And the stairs are completely gone, so we do have to go outside and climb on top of the rooftops. And imagine someone just around the corner with a nuke in their hands. I did not face the first one. You think I'm facing the second? And after that, I'd say we're only about halfway to the top. Ow! Okay. This works. You wanna know why? Because I'm running. What on earth? And now we have one of the most annoying PvP sections in the game. And I brought mostly my holy incantations as well as the blood-sucking cracked tier. So we're not only summoned to fight her, but also her allies. I brought Prayerful Strike so I can try to get some HP back from my bonks. And eventually I was facing two of them, which is a lot more for me to handle. And the HP from Prayerful Strike mostly just kept me neutral as opposed to actually gaining health from it. And even after taking one NPC down, we have more to face after that. Get it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And you're saying now I have to face 3? And when trying to kill one of them, I'm trying to not get rotted by more as well. But Leda cast her Ash as soon as I got staggered, and I died from all the needles hitting me. And since there are multiple allies helping her, I decided to bring Ansbach with me. Where did my Prayerful Strike go? There's also a Lion Strike Ash of War that continues its combo even further. I traded other attacks with Prayerful Strike and continued to stagger the NPC with the remaining light attacks. And Ansbach was good, but when I got Scarlet Rotted off camera, my HP was draining even faster now. And honestly, I always got scared whenever I had to face Leda. And I didn't want to resort to this, but I did upgrade the Mimic Tier Ash so I could have a second copy of myself. That's right, these enemies are facing 2 Johnny Sins. And bro, we actually were tag teaming the absolute hell out of all these allies. They bought me a lot of time to actually 1v1 some of them.
Think fast, chuckle nuts!
And I'll be honest, seeing like everybody here fighting was so cool. It was kind of cathartic. But the scariest sight was seeing them eventually all still target me despite my allies. And even then, it still didn't feel like enough. But since they're NPCs, I actually started to use more madness incantations. I brought Inescapable Frenzy and burned my channel into their retinas, making them go mad. You can't do it all the time because they can still stagger you out of it, but it's good because my Mimic tier also had those same frenzy incantations to build up madness along anybody else. And it still wasn't enough. Okay, keep this going. Why didn't... Okay, I forgot my dude's gonna try that. Yes! But since poise was an issue, I just applied Palm Blast to always ready it up with pretty much infinite poise and hit him back hard. And because of this, we actually did start getting some pretty good results. Taking care of the allies one by one. Also, did I forget to tell you, some of these dudes can heal. I think all of them. But Dane couldn't really handle my Flame of Frenzies as well as my own Palm Blasts, which he's Dryleaf Dane, he should know them, but eventually we do take him out. And with one more Flame of Frenzy, we take out Leda. And this whole encounter took us 7 attempts to even complete. But it's time for Promised Consort Radahn. And it's time to go up the last elevator we need to for this DLC. Oh my god! We're fucking here! And I, for the last time, check out any remembrance that I'm not going to be getting something from, so I know I can fully use it. And I start using all of the runes that I've collected for this run, all the way down to our last golden runes. And I have enough to reach level 207, and I spend some of my last points on endurance and dexterity to try and increase some of my incant speed. And there's no more running, it's time for the final boss.
My loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
And when he starts, he likes to launch himself towards you like a football to your location. And I'll be honest, some of these physical attacks are pretty fair. They're actually pretty cool to go against. At the beginning, many times I got caught by this gravity attack, but as you're aware of it, it becomes much easier to avoid. But he can turn around very quick to continue hitting you again, so always be careful for that. But after being dragged by the gravity pull, he likes to make some gravity stones come up from the ground, and I think it's possible to dodge roll it, but usually you should just try to run away from it. But we do eventually get him down to phase 2.
Lord brother, at long last you are returned. Tarnished one, aspiring lord of the old order, if you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us. To I, Miquella, and my promised consort, Radahn.
And during phase 2, they usually like to start off with a holy nuke, but after it, I get a chance to get Lord's Divine Fortifications off. And in this section, when they grab you, if you don't have Miquella's Great Rune, it's actually an insta-kill. Luckily for us, we have it, so they now need 2 of them to kill us instantly. And I, for the longest time, always got so nervous when entering phase 2. I just did not recognize the holy pattern from his follow-up attacks, and I always just didn't know where they were coming from. And I tried to go with some Black Flame incantations for the HP percentage, but it wasn't doing well, and it takes 2 rot pots during phase 1 to commence rot. And even his cross slash is like a range attack. And during the second phase, Holy Braid and Holy Divine Fortification carried me heavy. And don't even do incants in phase 2. He can just eventually jump on you. And I tried to get a light load to see if the extra distance was really going to help me out in the fight. Honestly, I don't think it really did. And I tried to capitalize on it by using Catch Flame, but the damage is really bad. I can't be missing in a time like this. And even the sword with its own buff just doesn't hit hard at all. And I tried to heal Far when he entered second phase, but it's just better to get a Lord's Divine Fortification instead of this. And again, I don't always know how the light attack works, but there is consistency to it. And I'm not using much of my FP, so I decided to go to just one cerulean flask. And I did want to see if pest threats could still cheese this boss, but he's actually too skinny for them to do much. He also has blood flame too. And right now I actually am missing the second to last live stream of this game in terms of footage. You could still go back and see it, so it's not lost. I think I just didn't actually record it, so I couldn't put it in DaVinci. But right now on the screen I have all the strats that I was using for that missing footage. I did try parrying and having the coated sword, but it takes 3 parries to get a riposte. Off camera I tried to farm from some Aeonian butterflies to get more rot pots, but the drop rates were garbage. I felt like I was actually suffering trying to get some of these, so I eventually stopped. And I do have some of this footage, but I don't have all of it. But I tried the strat of me using the deflecting tier on the black steel great hammer and just trying to see if guard countering would be any good. And I actually took a break from the game of like 3 to 4 months. And most of the last footage involving this fight is with that last stream I did months later. I went for prayerful strikes to get my HP back and actually get him critted, but the cutscene steals my damage. And here's me using deflecting hard tier. I'm not bad, but I can't parry everything. And with me missing some perfect parries, it goes into my stamina and makes me guard break. And I was adamant for a while of using the deflecting hard tier because I thought that was my way of winning, but it actually just helped me learn more of his attacks. How if he swipes, then the lights are gonna swipe, and how if he hits me directly, the lights are gonna go forward. And also, this is the build that I was using when I was trying to do the deflect hard tier strat. And my boy Kyle was refusing to watch the Full Metal Alchemist finale with his friends on Discord, so his friends went into my stream and told me to just beat Radahn's ass so they can get Kyle back. I felt even more pressure to kill this guy. And I tried the poison flower blooms twice, but here's the thing. First, you have to land the exactly on him in order to proc rot buildup. It isn't even that much rot buildup, and if you rot him in phase 1, it actually goes away once he enters phase 2. And in phase 2, he has even higher rot resistance. But eventually, my inner guardian told me to just start tanking and retaliate when I can with prayerful strikes for my HP to come back. With a timed Ash of War, I don't have to spend time flasking. And even though I couldn't get the maximum amount of critical damage, I did stagger him more times with this. And the advantage of the prayerful strike is sometimes your character is kneeling, meaning you actually dodge some attacks with it. And this is an achievement. I did once get the full riposte damage. I even found some timings to actually get a nice charged hit off. And Radahn starts cheating by giving himself iframes, but I think you all deserve to see the last attempt. Get the fuck out of here! Oh, we're done. Oh, we're done. Oh, shit, man. It took us 88 attempts to beat Promised Consort Radahn. This is actually the most amount of attempts I've ever had going against a boss. And literally after beating him, I did have the urge to want to fight him again. Bro, Faith is pretty viable.
If we honor our part of the vow, promise me you'll be my consort. I'll make the world a gentler place.
What is up, everybody? Yes, this is the end of the video, and if you've also been waiting for this thing, you've been waiting months, so I am very sorry for that. Honestly, I was much more busy with school because I was taking on 5 classes this semester, so I was really trying to lock in. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and if you've been waiting for this video, thank you even more for waiting. I also want to say I didn't really try all of the new incantations that were introduced in the DLC, and I definitely should have tried them more, but I feel like some of them were just really bad. However, I still could have probably found some use for them. I'm also making my voice a little bit lower because maybe you're sleeping while watching this, so, you know, go to bed, you deserve it. But one thing that you do notice with this DLC is that more enemies and more bosses are actually susceptible to holy damage. The big issue with Elden Ring holy damage is how they say you get it much later in the game, and then when you get holy damage, that's when bosses start becoming much more resistant to it. So overall, Faith is actually just way more viable in the DLC. And if you haven't tried using it, I suggest doing your own playthrough and going with it. I found it extremely fun. And I know the DLC has some of its own issues, some people that dislike it, and I also did have my own frustrations, but again, I actually really enjoyed it. And Promised Consort Radahn pushed me to my absolute limits when it came to a boss, which is what I needed. I felt like some bosses, even in the main game, were just easy to go through. To be fair, I'm a bumbling tank when I'm doing that, but I still like forced my way through. And also, I did want to give somebody a shout out. It's this YouTuber who I've been watching their content for a little while now. They don't stick solely to Soul games, they do a variety of content. But they have played the Soul games and even played Lies of P. Bloodborne is their absolute favorite, and they have done a lore live stream when they have played Demon Souls discussing the lore for it. And honestly, I put those streams on and they help me fall asleep, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just I prefer to hear their own ideas when discussing the lore of Demon Souls. And that creator is Avalyn B. Litlark, or as I call him, Avalyn the Javelin. Again, go ahead and watch her stuff. I really enjoy her live streams. They're a really good place to just hang out, chill, laugh, and also watch some of their old Souls game streams. It's a lot. I'm trying to make my way through down the list. And if you ever just want to see her playing something not really rambunctious, check out this one Dark Souls stream she did.
We'll work with it. What? Pepsi Man! What am I looking at? Help! If I hold this stick forward.
Oh, and before you go and check her out, do not act like how you do in my streams. we can get quite rambunctious and quite crude, so try not to be like that when in there. Please, she's one of the good ones. I'm not. Also, if you're watching this at the end, I am going to be doing a poll about what we should be doing next. I don't fully know what it is, but if you want to see the options and have a chance of seeing what the next video is going to be about, go ahead and drop your vote down there. And most likely, I will be streaming it on Saturday or Sunday at 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't stream on Twitch, I stream right here on YouTube, so if you don't want to miss that out, hit that subscribe button, or don't, you know, I'm not your mom, you do what you want. Just if you want to check it out, I'm gonna be here. And lastly, I hope all of you guys are doing well. The semester is over for me, and I'm just going to assume a lot of stress has left some of you guys. And if not, I really do hope that that lets up soon. I really do appreciate all of you guys. We still have time to improve on ourselves however we see fit. And give yourself the love you deserve. If you gotta sleep early, do yourself a favor and sleep early. And if you want to compliment yourself, even when you sometimes feel like you haven't earned it, compliment yourself. It's not good to keep all this in. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I love and appreciate you all. And whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good day or a good night. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.